This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim.
I'm Dar. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, no large booms, at least over Ohio. We'll
Not
talk
here.
more about that in a minute. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems I'm looking at the old thermometer on the wall. I have the old mercury thermometer on the wall
yes.
here.
Yeah, you have that.
And the theater of the mind, Dar, the theater of the mind, they don't know any different. Now they do. But anyway, the old digital thermometer on my desktop says it's 33 degrees. I'm sick of it.
This is so ridiculous.
I've had enough. I've had enough.
And then the other part of the country is like breaking records in the other direction.
Yeah, I heard Kansas
degrees.
City, it's in the 90s, or it was in the 90s. I don't know. It's just crazy.
I know. Crazy. Texas is like going through a massive heat wave. It's just...
Bring a little of it here. Bring a little of it here.
We have the furnace cranked up. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's springtime. I mean, is springtime March 21st? Is that right?
Oh, I thought it was
20th or 21st, whatever it was.
Yeah,
it's already passed.
It was. It's over.
So
it's passed. Yeah.
It's time for spring now. So old man winter, step aside.
I mean, can we at least stay in the 50s a little bit? I mean,
yeah.
And we're having this up and down stuff. So I think it's going to go in Cleveland in the 60s and then it's going to drop back to the 30s.
Time is on our side, as the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm calling it. See, this is my psychic prediction. We have the furnace on right now. And then all we're going to do is turn it off for one day and then have to crank on the air conditioning because that's how the weather's going to go.
I make predictions sometimes, but they fall under the category of Nostradumba. So,
But-um-bump. Where's your but-um-bump? You missed it. There you go. Better late than never. Nostradumba. That's very nice. Can I use that during our arguments in the house?
Okay.
Nostradumba. There we go.
I don't think I ever heard that before. That was
no. Did you just make that up?
I think I just made it up. Or maybe I heard so. Yeah,
that's good.
That's pretty good. Anyway, but things coming out of the sky. Talk about signs.
What is going on?
Well,
I'm scared of this.
I have an article here, NBC News. Meteor spotted streaking across Texas, responsible for sonic booms, NASA says. And a Houston area resident actually thinks that a piece came into her house. She said, I just went in and saw the hole and I saw the dent in the floor, Sherry James said. Yeah, is that crazy? They said that this happened at 4:40 p.m. local time, first visible in Stagecoach, northwest of Houston. It moved southeast at 35,000 miles per hour, breaking apart 29 miles above Bammel, just west of Cypress Station, the agency, NASA, wrote in a post on X. They think it was around 3 feet across and weighed about a ton. That's tiny compared to the one we had, which was supposed to be 6 feet across. It's not tiny if it falls in your house, though. Sherry James said a possible piece of the meteor crashed through her roof on Saturday afternoon. She said, I'm like, what is this? And her daughter said, I called my grandson and I said, look at that. I said, is that a meteor? That's the first thing that came to my mind because it was all black. And I like what she said here, and I agree fully. She said, it just looked like a rock. And ain't no rocks got no business falling out of the sky. Well said. Well
Amen.
said. But it's not just there. It's not just there. Germany. Falling meteorite smashes hole in roof of German house after spectacular fireball explosion over Europe. This is according to livescience.com. So it's not weekly world news, folks. And it was on Sunday, March 8th, around 6:55 p.m. local time. A meteor streaked through the atmosphere over the German state of Rhineland-Palatinate before it suddenly exploded, creating a bright flash that lasted for around 6 seconds, according to the European Space Agency. And it was looks like it was reported by over 3,000 people. Then let's turn our attention to the Pacific Northwest. They reported a green fireball in the sky. This is OregonLive.com. According to reports on the American Meteor Society, a fireball report log, a bright green fireball streaked across the skies of the Pacific Northwest and even down to Northern California around 6:06 a.m. on Monday. Yeah. So, and I think this is kind of what we saw that time back in, was it the 90s or the early 2000s? We're driving on, well, I can say we were driving on Mayfield Road in Mayfield Heights. We were over by, if anybody's
Cleveland
familiar.
suburb.
Yeah, Cleveland suburb. And it was, there's a shopping center there, Golden Gate Shopping Center, I think we were driving by. And we looked up in this, we looked up in the sky and saw a green fireball. And this was what, about 5:30, 6 o'clock,
or
6:30 in the
UAP.
evening? I think it was just a green fireball. But I mean, to us it was a UAP because it was unidentified.
Well, yeah, we didn't know what it was.
But the funny thing was, it wasn't just us. We were listening to a local talk radio station, and I think they went off the air at 6 usually, if I'm not mistaken. So probably shortly before 6, but it was dark because I think it was wintertime.
Right.
And somebody called in and said, I'm in the Mayfield Heights area, and I just saw a fireball. And the host, kind of in his style, saying, what are you drinking? Ha ha, funny. And it's like, no, buddy, not funny. It was real.
Yep.
And there's also a report here from NBC Bay Area about the meteor lights up Bay area sky. So, I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, I don't know what's going on. And I know this past weekend that there were some solar storms. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the atmosphere. I don't know why.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, what's really going on? Because, okay, here we go. I'm asking questions.
Just asking questions.
Asking questions.
That's a funny thing because Dar said that a couple weeks ago on the show, and I said, you realize that's a meme. And she's like, no, I didn't know that was a meme.
I'm not on socials. What do I know?
It's just kind of making fun of the whole conspiracy culture and those kind of things.
Is,
just asking questions.
But I am just asking questions. I'm like, come on, people. You're just going to take whatever somebody tells you as Bible? I'm like, ask questions.
I think in this case, the most likely explanation, and we are in the middle of some kind of meteor shower, and they missed it. I don't think it's aliens. I don't think it's, attacks from other countries.
I don't think it's aliens. Maybe it's related. I mean, somebody on X thought maybe it could be war related with Iran. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to say that I know what it is because I don't. But something weird is going on because I thought our government agency, AKA NASA, is supposed to be tracking these things.
Right, but what if they're just not very good at it?
Well, then that just lends itself to believe what else are they not good at?
Well,
so, right? I mean, like all their information on 3i Atlas and all their other stuff. Who's to believe them?
I mean, I always am pro our military, and I know NASA has some military involvement, even though it's supposed to be just civilian. I'm pretty sure they do. But I don't know how good NASA really is. Maybe this sounds sacrilegious, but I mean, we haven't been back to the moon since what, 1972? I mean,
and they had to scrap the next one.
The space shuttle
change the whole thing.
Was a total cost overruns, those kind of things. Honestly, I don't know how good NASA really is. And if you look at it, the things I know, people don't like him, and it has nothing to do with politics. But what Elon Musk has been able to do through private enterprise with SpaceX, and I'm not commenting on his politics, I'm just saying it seems like he's a heck of a lot more efficient with his space efforts than our government is. So I don't know. Maybe NASA's just not that good.
Maybe they're not. Well, I just find this thing completely appalling. If all of these meteors are coming through the atmosphere and they're all like meteorites crashing through people's homes, don't you think,
that should be like a top job.
Yes.
That
you're
should be your
first and
priority.
foremost in space. Don't you think you should be warning people this could happen? That's all. Just say it could happen, or we're tracking something. Well, aren't you tracking these things? Shouldn't you know?
Don't get too excited. You're overdriving the mic. You're overmodulating.
I know. I'm sorry. Let me go away. I'm sorry. I know people hate that. But I get angry because it's like, this is like, you have one job, right? I mean, like, this is your job. But then again,
what could they do?
Stuff.
If they say, well, a meteor is going to hit Texas. I mean, It's not like you could go somewhere safe to stand. I mean, it could hit anywhere or within a range.
But shouldn't we have, I don't know. I still think we should have some kind of warning. Oh, this is happening. Whether people choose to listen to it, not listen to it. I mean, so we kind of have an idea of what's going on. I mean, there's like how many different, I even posted some more in the virtual campfire of different things that have been seen in the skies. You know, what's going on? Like, is it a meteor shower that has like, they missed? Or is something else being put up into the atmosphere that's causing all of this to happen?
She's not saying it's aliens.
I'm not saying it's aliens. But, okay, so, all right. Prime example. So we had this ginormous meteor come through Ohio, right?
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
huge,
they said it's
correct?
not, well, they said by their standards, it wasn't, I don't know how many tons it was, and the explosion was equal to 250 tons of TNT. I think that's pretty good size. They said it was small.
They reported one person found a little piece of it.
I thought you were giving us all the finger there for a minute.
I said, no way, Nostradumba.
I think I heard that somewhere. I don't think I came up with that. That's too good.
I don't know.
I think I heard that somewhere because that's too good. Yeah, it's really good.
But anyway, I just feel like something else is going on, and the people, we're not finding all the pieces. What is this? I mean, there's just too many. There's too many. I don't know. I could see. Yeah. You know, NASA's response, I think, was, "Oh, this happens every day. There's tons of them." Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a great title for this episode, but I don't think it would get through. I think it would get banned.
It would get banned. Well, we could just go Nostra's
asterisks. Yeah.
We'll try it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, speaking of our beloved government,
oh my God,
you know how you go on these different, GoDaddy commercials and stuff. Well, somebody registered an interesting domain for the government, didn't they?
Yeah, here we go. Alien.gov. Also, aliens.gov. Both are newly registered federal website domains. And so people are like, what's going on, right? Like the timing of this. Why are you getting them now? Right? Neither of the websites are live. So if you go to them, apparently you get an error message. I haven't gone recently since this article was put out. This was in USA Today. As of March 19th, the government hasn't provided any information on why those two domains were created. In a statement provided to USA Today on March 19th, quote, White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly said, "Stay tuned," including an alien emoji after her message. The Pentagon did not immediately respond, and they were contacted, but no response. So neither's live, and I will have to check that. Maybe you should be checking that now, Jim, for fun, but you won't do that. So anyway, they're just kind of curious why now. I had a little chat with one of our virtual campfire members, GB, and because he brought it to my attention, but we had already known about this because we were talking about it at dinner. But I like his point. Why the rush to get these domains, right? No other entity, nobody can get those, right? You have to be government to get a .gov domain. So why now? What's going on? Right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Very interesting.
Yes. Well, I did a little research, by the way. Apparently, Howard Stern popularized that term, but you don't really know what to believe from ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT, because sometimes it just makes stuff up. So I don't know if that's true or not, but we want to give credit where credit's due. But anyway.
Well, we always try to. Wait a minute. So I'm going to, yep. Alien.gov points to nothing. It just says it can't find the server. Let me do aliens.gov. See, right? Aren't we great? Right at the nothing.
There you go.
Can't find the server. So it's still not live. See, bringing you the latest.
The latest.
Speaking of the latest.
Yeah, still no word on that missing general, William Neal McCasland, disappeared February 27th. And folks, I got to say, I mean, I hate to assume the worst, but we're talking about almost a month here. I don't think whatever they find, if they ever find anything, is going to be good. But apparently, according to Ross Coulthard, of course, of News Nation fame, and this is from newsnationnow.com, you can find the link in the show notes, it said that McCasland was not actually seen leaving of his own volition. Rather, a repairman is the last person to have seen him at the residence. He specifically said on the Katie Pavlich show tonight, she said 1 hour he was there with the repairman who saw him in the home, and when his wife came back a little over an hour later, he had disappeared. So in other words, nobody saw him leave the house. So, yeah, very interesting.
And no glasses, no wallet, no watch.
Glasses. Yeah, no glasses, no wallet.
He didn't take any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it said left at McCasland's home was his tracking watch and mobile phone, while a firearm and holster had been taken. And that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's interesting. I did not know that either. Yeah, this is according to News Nation Now. I'm assuming they're correct. But
that's puzzling.
Another person who is kind of in a similar line of work disappeared last year and still hasn't been found. It is a U.S. rocket scientist, Monica Reza, and she went missing on the morning of June 22nd, 2025 in the Angeles National Forest while hiking with two experienced companions who were exploring the popular Mount Waterman Trail. And again, this could just be a weird coincidence, those kind of things. They searched for months. They used hikers, dogs, radar. They haven't found any trace of her. She's 60 years old and still considered a missing person, according to the L.A. County Sheriff's Department. And she was a material scientist at the Aerojet Rocketdyne, which was funded for years by NASA and the Air Force Research Laboratory. Her patented nickel-based superalloy, Mondaloy, brought her into the orbit of McCasland, who oversaw the Air Force group that funded research in the early 2000s into advanced materials needed for reusable space vehicles and weapons. Now, what's interesting there is when you talk about captured UFOs, many people feel that they have been captured and reverse engineered, and possibly one of the things that they try to source from that is the material that maybe they're built from. So a conspiracy theorist might say, was she possibly working on some of these reversed engineered materials and alloys and things? That's what a conspiracy theorist would say. I'm not saying it. But that's how I think a conspiracy theorist might join the dots.
I would not want to be a scientist right now, because let's go back a number of months. What about the scientist that was murdered at Brown? And then his somewhat colleague was murdered right in front of his house. And was that in New York? Mm-hmm. Do you remember those scientists?
Yeah.
They were physicists.
Yeah.
What's going on? And nobody's talking about that anymore. I mentioned that on Virtual Campfire. I'm like, that's all hush hush now. That's all old news. Oh, that was solved. The guy was just crazy and he stayed in a storage unit, and that's that. It was all done. What?
Right.
No. Because you guys started to come out saying that those two had ties and something was going on there. And then all of a sudden it got hush hush. And now, this poor woman has been gone for over a year. McCasland's gone. They had ties. Something's going on. I don't know what. I'm not going to say, but
it's funny. I my next story after this one, after you do your story, and it just disappeared, and I had to read it. That's why I was looking away. But they're very conspiratorial.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going down the rabbit hole. We need to wear our tinfoil hats next week.
Maybe we need if we go missing, you guys.
Well, I thought about that. Too much just asking questions.
We're not popular enough, so we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, you bring up a good point. Let's just break a minute and talk about this, because we were talking about it last night. we're really kind of, people seem to love this show. I know people loved our, we get such good comments. Per capita, per listener, we probably get more comments on this show than any show. Even Campfire, if you look at the difference in the audiences, right? Because Campfire has a much larger audience. But the show is not growing, folks. And I hate to put too fine of a point on it, but this is the way we make our living. And when we're doing shows and we're putting effort into something, we love doing the show, but we also have to make it make business sense because these lights and this camera and Dar's camera and everything we do cost money. This is not a webcam setup, okay? So we have to make it work. And we're kind of disappointed that the numbers aren't up on this show better because I thought for sure this was going to be a hit podcast. And it's, I'll be honest, it's not.
I think that's why we put a poll up talking about maybe changing the title. And we really don't want to change the title, but I put a poll up just to see what other people, had to say. We're just trying to think of ways to kind of grow this. If you guys can please just let other people know. I think a lot of people have no clue. And I think even people in the virtual campfire have no clue. And they don't subscribe to this section. They have no idea what it is. I
could have done a better job maybe promoting it, but I'll give you some numbers. Okay, if you talk about just the piece that is the downloads and the audio for the podcast itself, the last month we're a little under 27,000. Then you add in the last 4 episodes, and that's another 5. So that's 32,000. Okay, so let's be generous. Let's say it's 35,000 over the course of a month. Now let me tell you what Campfire is. Not even including YouTube, it's 360,000. So the point is, guys, we got to get,
if you like the show,
if you like the show and you want us to keep going,
that's okay.
Yeah. We need your help getting the word out. Spread those YouTube links. Tell people about the show. I was just reading something in the Wall Street Journal, and you can look it up. This is a real thing. A lot of longtime podcasters are walking away from podcasting.
Yeah, we just read this article. The Try Guys. I don't know if you guys know who they are. I know from the girls. We used to watch them all the time.
What's happening is that all the big celebrities are coming in. They're taking up all the advertisers. They're sucking all the oxygen out of the room. And the other thing they said, and I thought this was really interesting because we've seen a little bit of this, not totally, but a little bit. Like the one gentleman was saying, hey, if there was a A-lister who was coming out with a movie or a book, 5-10 years ago, they could get him on their podcast very easily. Now they just go on the Travis Kelce show.
Right. Yeah. And I think you've seen a little of that with paranormal podcasts.
Absolutely.
You can't get people that you used to be able to get. They're not interested.
Yeah. They want to be on Joe. Everybody wants to be on Joe Rogan. That's all they care about. Or Theo Vaughn or something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of, we're not. Come on, we're not delusional. We're not going to be like Travis Kelce or Joe Rogan. Right. We're not expecting those numbers, but we just expected a little bit of a steady growth, right?
Well, I told you last year, I think, last year I told you, I think this is going to be a breakout podcast because people love.
You said that.
And I say because, and not because of me, I'm just like, I'm like the anchor man, but you're what makes this show. No, I mean that.
Nostradumba, stop it. Because
you're what makes this show. But the thing is that
it's us together.
Okay.
Because if
all
it
right.
was just
I'll
me,
table that. I'll table that. Yeah. But my point is,
see, you guys got to see a little argument. There we go.
You see the energy that people put in the comments. I love Dar. I love the back and forth. The impressions are funny. It's great.
The back and forth. Yes, that requires another person to be there.
Right. But but that's not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the thing is that with the reaction we get in the comments, I think, oh my God, this show should be huge. This should be my biggest show. It should be based on.
Well,
no,
people
but
like
if
real ghost stories.
But no, if you look at the ratio of comments on this show to the ratio of comments on Campfire, which has over 10 times the audience.
Because that's not. I'm saying controversial things. That's
I don't know.
I'm saying.
My point is, this show should be a
questions.
Lot. And I do think we do a pretty high quality show. So I think it should be more popular. So guys, if you want to continue, if you want us to keep doing this, because I mean, I've even toyed around with the idea someday of just doing campfire because that seems to be all people care about. I mean, and I love Campfire. Don't get me wrong. I love Campfire. It is a great show. It's the one idea I stumbled on that was a really good idea.
Well, where else? I mean, and you've been mentioning this a little bit on the shows, but where else are you going to get real experiences? And I mean, okay, so we're assuming a lot that people come on and they're not making up stories. I don't think they are. I believe
the vast majority of people are being 100% sincere. I do believe
so
that.
They're having real experiences.
And we don't add sound effects to it. And we don't,
You're not making, what was that noise? And, let's recreate it. No, we're not doing, hey, tell us what happened.
Right.
And then, you know what? That is awesome because then people out there are like, you know what? I had that too.
Right.
And I'm glad that I'm not alone. Right.
Yeah.
So it's a validation. It's a great show for validation. And it's like, it's a forum that you're not judged and you can tell like the weird things that have happened to you because we all know when you tell these weird things out in the mainstream, you're perceived to be a kook. So there you go.
So
it's
my
a great
point
show.
is that
we got to get back to this show.
I think Campfire is a great show, but I think this is a great show and it's underperforming. And,
show us the love.
Particularly now, we don't have the budget to do a lot of advertising. I was doing some YouTube paid promotion. I stopped doing that because, frankly, we can't afford it. So if you want the show to continue, share it with your friends and share it with your friends who don't share it with everybody. Share it specifically with people who you think they would like that. I think that's the best thing. If you just put a post on social media, that's nice. But if you send somebody a link and say, I know you like paranormal stuff. I know you like UFO stuff. These guys are funny, but they also bring forth some good information. That would be a great help. That would be a big help to us. So anyway, off of my soapbox. Now, where were we before I so rudely interrupted?
Well, we're going to talk about the Loch Ness Monster.
Yes. Ooh.
He's back in the news. She's back in the news. So apparently, according to Daily Mail, Loch Ness Monster hunter is stunned as a fast-moving creature is filmed rising and sinking out of the water. And he showed it to experts, and nobody knows. They said there's no animal we know of that can reach this speed. So Sasha Lake on March 1st was just standing on the banks of the loch around 6 o'clock. He spotted something moving in the water, and it was going so fast against the waves. And he luckily had the phone. He had his phone, and he captured it on camera. He was so excited. And he only stopped filming because it went out of view. And so he showed the footage to Alan McKenna, the leader of the Loch Ness exploration. And he's the one, Alan said, there's, quote, no animal that we know of in the Loch Ness that can reach this speed. So, it was seen like 5 times last year, I know. And, he was just, Sasha was there saying, it was just, there's so many aspects of the Loch Ness that interest him. And, so he thought the potential of possibly like experiencing something unusual was always there, and it was kind of exciting. And so he always had the phone ready, and he couldn't believe it that he actually saw something. And he said, it was weird because he said the way it moved, how fast it was, is like, this is kind of odd. So he just stood there afterwards. He kind of freaked out. He said he was trying to process what just happened because he's like, and then he sat down. He's like, okay, what can explain this? So he was trying to take it, very logically. What did I just see? So like they just reiterate in the article this, Mr. McKenna, the Loch Ness exploration guy said, it's the speed. That's what they couldn't, they just could not believe how fast it was going. He says it's too fast for a seal. It's not a swimmer or kayaker, not wind turbulence. There's no animal that we know of in the Loch Ness that can reach this speed. So, and then they showed it to that Sean Sloggy who does that cruise ship stuff. And he was intrigued. He said, whatever it is, it's moving fast and it's moving against the wind and waves. So Don't know what it is. I like the end of this article because they're trying to go on and saying what other people think is actually in the, what the sightings actually are. They think it could be like a native like fish sturgeon that weighs 100 pounds and has ridged backs, or they think it could be an escaped amphibian that's got like crocodile like scoots on top of its spine. So they go through all of it. It's kind of interesting. Even
the thing is, I do believe that there are underwater monsters, for lack of a better term. To me,
correct.
Those are the ones that are most likely to be real. And all the time, there's weird stuff washing up on shores that are like, oh, we thought that was extinct. And then, and again, I'm repeating myself. I've said this many times over the years. We supposedly know more about deep space than we do the deep ocean because we can't get down there. What was the name of that? We watched the documentary on it not that long ago. The vessel that went down to the Titanic, the Titan. Yeah. And the thing is,
you just talked about this with Richard Estep on Paranormal Podcast because he's got his new book out on monsters. So this was real interesting.
That's coming up today, actually, as we record this on Tuesday, March 24th. So by the time this is out, you'll see it. It'll be available everywhere fine podcasts are heard and seen. But nevertheless, the point being that, it's like because we can't get down there because the pressures are too great. It's
there's something there. I mean, there's something there. Is it the Loch Ness monster? We don't know, but there's something there.
And there's a difference. You're talking about this loch in the ocean, but still underwater, there's a lot we don't know.
Right.
And with the deep oceans, a lot of people believe that, what we're seeing with UAPs might be more USOs and they might be going down, or they go up and they go down transmedium. That has been reported. So very interesting stuff indeed.
Yes.
And more interesting stuff. Representative Anna Paulina Luna recently offered an update on the Trump administration's efforts to have disclosure on the subject of UAPs and UFOs. And she was recently on Jillian Michaels' show, Keeping It Real. Another celebrity with a podcast. But anyway, Representative Luna said there have been instances of footage we cannot explain. As soon as we get the official on-paper declassification order, I want to do a press conference with all the information that we are being told and shown. She went on to add, I think you're going to get a lot of cool stuff, but I don't think there's ever going to be the full admission. I agree 100%. She goes on to say the federal government telling you what to believe. They'll release it, but they're not going to tell you what to make of it. And then my thing is that it's going to be just like 2017, I think it was, when the Tic Tac video, kind of the debunkers just ignore that it was ever done, So I don't know. I mean, I think it's good, but I don't think it's what we in the movement really want to see. We want somebody to come out and say, look, here is photographic evidence. This is real. This is not doctored. This is not a satellite. This is not a military experiment. This is not a weather phenomenon. We've ruled all that stuff out. This is some kind of thing, object from some non-human entity. And then even they could go another step and say, we've recovered some of these, or we've recovered NHI, non-human intelligent body. You're never going to hear any of that. So I agree with her that maybe something will be, it's not going to be what we want, folks. It's not going to be what we want. I don't think.
I think it's going to be very similar to when they released the JFK files. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you'll get a little, here's a little crumb. But you're not getting the full story.
And there were some things in there,
actually,
in the JFK files, there was some interesting stuff in there about Oswald and his connections to the CIA. But did you hear that? I mean, the thing is that the media can control the story by, it could be released, but if they don't put it under the spotlight, nobody pays attention. It's like, and you know what they'll do? They'll release it all on 5:30 on a Friday.
Yes, they will. Exactly. Why? Tell everyone, Jim, why do they do that?
Because that's the news cycle. That's before. Now, again, this was more back in the day when, television news ruled the roost. But if you wanted to bury something, you would release it on the end of the day on Friday. So it couldn't make the evening newscast. You release it on a weekend. And by the weekend, everybody's had their barbecues, their baseball games and everything. And they're like, wasn't there something about UFOs released?
Yeah, something like
that's
that,
more of that crazy stuff. Okay, on to the next thing.
Right.
And I bet you, I bet they do have like a thing you can bet on this. I would bet money. I would put down $50 and saying it's going to be released on the Friday afternoon.
Oh my gosh, we should look into it.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that date that Mark Christopher Lee said that Trump was going to release everything?
Was it
July
one in May?
8th?
Well, there was a July date, but then there was a May date, but then he said he had been misled, so who the heck knows?
I don't know. Whatever. I think it will. I think something, though, will be dropped a little bit after Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day movie comes out on June 12th.
Yeah. And we're talking about, for Cleveland area people, we're entertaining the thought of maybe doing a meetup after that movie. So if you're interested,
or letting you guys know which theater we'll go see it. And if you want to join us at that theater, you can. And then maybe do a little meetup after to have a little interesting discussion.
Yeah. So we'll see if that happens or not. But
stay tuned.
We went to see, Cassandra was home. We went to see Project Hail Mary, and which
highly
was great,
recommend.
By the way. Highly recommended. And they had a trailer for Disclosure Day, and it's very
because they released a little bit more now. So catch the latest trailer, guys. I didn't put this article in. There was an article about it too, but they released a little bit more about the trailer, showing some different scenes that haven't been seen before. So
you keep moving, so I'm having to do this number.
Oh,
all
I'm
the
sorry.
time.
I'm swiveling.
You're all
sorry.
over. I'm trying to keep you in the frame. So, folks, if you notice that, don't blame me.
I shall be a robot.
Don't blame me. That's the last straw, the final straw, Dar.
Yep. You all know how much I love AI. So a very popular astrology site, AstroSeek. I've not been on there, so I can't tell you a lot about it. But AI bots crashed it. So people were getting really upset. There was a server overload notice on AstroSeek, I think a week or two ago now. While registered users could log in to access its tool, the platform was always known as a free and extensive astrology resource that doesn't require an account. Well, nope. They got hit by AI bots big time. People were making comments, happy Mercury retrograde, and because they said when that happens, everything falls apart and stuff. So they had to shut it down because AI was taking over the website. But the people were saying that they kind of brought it on themselves. You invited the AI bots, now you're crying, somebody said. I don't know. But anyway, it crashed the whole site, and it was all because like bots were hitting the site big time. So yeah, you couldn't get your astrology, and it's all because of our lovely AI.
It's something. I mean, they're finding that AI sometimes is deceptive. It apparently will take steps when it's going to be turned off or changed to a new model. The old model will resist. And this is just the beginning. So
people really need to realize, just because you put something in AI, like one of the Grok or Chat or whatever, you better check that information.
That's right. Well, I'll give you an example.
It's wrong.
I was looking something up just the other day. This was for a personal thing. This wasn't anything to do with the business. And it gave me, and I thought that one answer was true. And then I put it in and said, oh no, that is not true. That's a myth. I'm like, interesting. So then I went and researched it, and it turns out it was not a myth. So, and it makes it very convincing. So it's the old trust but verify. It can be very useful. I think it's good in rewriting things if you give it the information and have it rewrite it, or those kind of things, or reasoning through stuff. And sometimes I find it when I'm trying to reason through something, it makes me think like I'm talking to another person. So I come up with solutions myself that process helps. But in terms of trusting it,
because people aren't using it like that. They're just trusting it, and they're not thinking for themselves.
I'll give you an example. We talked about the Howard Stern thing. It said that you notice what I said. That's what it says, according to it. I'm not saying that's correct. That's the piece that people are missing. Trust, but verify. Not even trust. Use it, but verify.
No, you talk to it like it's a human being, which annoys the heck out of me. And then it praises you. Oh, such a good job, Jim.
But I know that.
Thinking of that.
I know that. I'll even put in the instruction, do not give me any false flattery. And then it will begin to give me false flattery.
Still give you false flattery. So
you know why?
I'm going
because
to talk to your chat GPT or whatever, and I'm going to tell it to call you from now on Nostradumba. So there we go.
Well, if it fits,
are we going to get so much trouble for saying that word about 40 times?
I think people are going to get angry because we have a reputation for not using vulgarity. But I thought it was so light that it was.
Unless they lived in our house with us, and then they would see a different.
But no, I really do respect that in general. I don't like to. I because I know kids listen, but I thought it was light enough. It's no big deal. Hopefully, nobody feels differently. But well, this next story you found this is pretty cool.
I knew you would love this
classic
story.
Country music fan here. To me, country music is George Strait, Merle Haggard, George Jones, Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn. If you know who those people are, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, in my opinion, you don't know what real country music is. The stuff now that's called country music, you can keep it because it's garbage. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. So anyway.
Now Jim's getting, now it's not just me. Jim's getting a little
I'll
feisty.
say this. It's hot garbage. How about that? So anyway, but
I happen to like some newer country, but I don't call it country.
You can like garbage if you want to. That's up to you. But anyway, the point is that one of the great country classic songs, many of you might remember the singer Tanya Tucker, who actually became very popular when she was a teenager. And her first hit was Delta Dawn. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Anyway, and also, thank you, Helen Reddy had a pop hit with it as well. But the Tanya Tucker version is better. But anyway, in my opinion, it turns out that there's a paranormal connection. This is from AmericanSongwriter.com. And the co-writer of it, Alex Harvey, Delta Dawn was his mother. And apparently he was slated to perform on television, according to this article. And before he went, he asked his mother not to come to the taping because she, unfortunately, was apparently an alcoholic. And he was afraid she was going to embarrass him while he was on television. She died in a car crash that night. And he was extremely guilty of it. So anyway, this really bothered him, Alex Harvey. And then one night, he was in the early hours of the morning. Everybody in the house was asleep. And he was sitting there, and he had his guitar, and he was strumming to himself. And he looked up, and he saw his mother in a rocking chair looking at him. And she was smiling. Chills. She was smiling. Now, first, a lot of people think, she was trying to scare him. But no, he took it as she meant that, she made her choices in life, but it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault about her death. But apparently, she was Delta Dawn because she was a hairdresser in Brownsville, which is mentioned in the lyrics, Brownsville. All the folks around Brownsville say she's crazy. And she was kind of a free spirit, and people didn't understand her. And so it was very biographical. He said she was a hairdresser in Brownsville. She was very free-spirited. Folks in a small town don't always understand people like that. She never really grew up. And he said, whenever I hear the song on the radio, even today, I feel like my mama is up there saying, "You're welcome." So this is from, I would recommend reading, if you're interested, the whole article by Melanie Davis. The website is AmericanSongwriter.com. But it's interesting. Music has a lot of paranormal connections over the years. In fact, our friend Richard Sirrett is going to be coming out with a book on that. Rock and Roll Twilight Zone coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. But and we'll be interviewing him for the Paranormal Podcast. But a lot of connections between music and the supernatural, because I think music is kind of supernatural and kind of paranormal. It really taps into something very, very unique. So there you have it. And thanks Anytime I get to think about classic country music, I get a smile on my face. So that was cool.
I know. Yeah. Well, we need the breaking news. You don't have it. You've got to get on this.
Do I have it? There we go. There you go.
More Conjuring House news. Woo! The court has ruled that Jason Hawes can join the lawsuit over the Conjuring House mortgage.
No.
So on Friday, March 20th, he will be made party to a lawsuit on whether a Massachusetts bank should be allowed to undo its cancellation of the mortgage on the Conjuring House.
Huh.
Yeah. So Needham Bank loaned Jacqueline Nunez, who currently owns the home, $1.22 million in 2022 when she bought the house for $1.525 million. Has said it made a mistake in November when it discharged the mortgage on the property. The bank says that in October, it had sold the mortgage to Summit and Stone. That's a company that was formed by YouTuber Elton Castee. So they said they made a mistake. Judge Christopher K. Smith ruled Friday that the possibility that Castee's company could foreclose on the mortgage, depending on how the case turned out, was sufficient reason for Hawes to join the case. So it's a little confusing, but now, so there's a lawsuit. Now Hawes is going to be part of that lawsuit, which he was not part of before. So that's part of the update. Another part of the update, I think if you had been listening, you knew a few weeks ago they were going to court. Elizabeth Greenhall. Jacqueline Nunez's sister was trying to become her guardian, so she had to go to court. Well, the court ruled that Nunez has to submit to a medical examination to determine if she's not of sound mind, supposedly. Who's Dunn? I think Dunn is the chief judge of the Massachusetts Probate and Family Court, issued the order on March 4th, and said that Greenhall could schedule an examination at her own expense anywhere within 15 miles of Boston. And she has to provide her sister with written notice of the appointment at least 7 days in advance. If Nunez fails to participate in the examination, that can be held against her in further proceedings, which have not been scheduled. So Greenhall needs that to kind of give her a leg to stand on to block the sale. So, I mean, it's very complicated. It's like, oh my gosh, they're just, I don't know. Good luck, everyone. I don't care. I will never go see it, so it doesn't bother me. I just hope when if they do win and they get possession of it, that they're not charging exorbitant fees to go see this house if they're going to continue with it. So I don't.
Well, my bottom line, it's all a big mess.
It is. And it's not our mess, thank God, so we don't have to deal with it. So good luck out there.
So we'll see what happens.
I don't really care.
Well, you know how much I am fascinated by near-death experiences. And this is an interesting story because this is a story, it was in the New York Post, of a woman who was a hardcore atheist. She didn't believe in any of this stuff. But then in her early 20s, she had a near-death experience. Apparently, according to this article, partying nights led her down the wrong path, drinking heavily and abusing drugs. One night she was clubbing. She OD'd on a laced drug and went into cardiac arrest. And then she slipped into a death-like experience. She said she shot up into the sky like a character punched by Popeye. That's an interesting way of putting it. She said, I could sense my ancestors' joy at my coming to join them, and I felt honored to do so, though in life I'd never cared a bit about my ancestors. So she goes on to talk about this and basically said that, it took time, and I don't think this is all in the article because you were telling me about this. I think you found it in some other sources as well, that she didn't immediately come to this. She was at first determined to settle back into normal life as though nothing had happened and the experience had meant nothing. But she said, my spirit energy deflectors had been permanently damaged. And then she started to have ghost sightings and so forth and so on. And then she says, I was an avid materialist atheist who despised all things churchy or woo-woo, but I knew this reality had been no dream or hallucination. So she kind of changed her ways, and she has a book titled Die Hard Atheist, From NDE Denier to Full-On Woo-Woo. So we want to get her as a guest on one of the shows, so hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm working on it, so hopefully we'll get her on somewhere.
Our crack team,
fascinating...
Dar.
Yeah, me.
But no, Dar does a great job. Dar does a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. I try, but it's not easy.
And
anyway.
Shout out as well to Maddie.
Maddie, that's why it's not easy. I have to fill her shoes where she would do all this booking.
Exactly. So Maddie also
and she's been doing it for
job.
Years, so it was probably just second nature to her. Where it's for me, it's like, I don't know what to say to these people.
She did a fantastic job for years, and we remain in touch. I just texted with her yesterday, so
we go.
She's still a member of the Spooky Studio family.
Absolutely,
but getting a well-deserved break after putting up with me for so many years. So
I won't say anything. No, I'm just
when's my break? Dar says. When's my break?
Yeah. I'm joking.
Okay. AI, out of control robots. Tell us about it.
It's our weird news of the week. Dun, dun, dun. We need another sound for that too. This was in mainstream, so many of you may have seen it. A dancing robot was dancing and broke a bunch of dishes and went rogue in a hot pot restaurant in California.
Making me hungry.
Yeah, so this is on NBC News. You'll see the link in our show notes, so you can go see it. It was a hot pot location, Hidalgo. I'm probably not pronouncing Hidalgo. I don't know. I'm bad. Sorry, guys. I'm not from California. I apologize. But this you have to watch the video. This robot, and it's not like we have like a restaurant in the Cleveland area. I know on the west side. I think there's one on the east side too of Cleveland. It's called Funchi, and they have like these robot things that will bring you your food, but they're not robots per se. They kind of look like, what would you say they look like, Jim? Like big dehumidifiers.
Yeah,
like they're just like these square things, and it has like trays on it. It's
right.
But this was a real robot, like with.
And by the way, we love
face.
Funchi, so if you're in the area, check it out. It's great.
Yes, revolving sushi, very cool. But the other location doesn't have that, but they're ramen. Wow. But anyway. So this hot pot restaurant has a real robot that was going around. You have to see the video. So it approaches a table, it starts pounding on it, and then it's knocking off utensils and glasses, and a server's running up trying to restrain it. The question is, no kill switch? They have a couple people trying to hold this thing down, because I guess it's like programmed to do a dance, and I think it got too close to the table. Like a customer wanted it to be closer, so they moved it. Hello. They moved it closer than it should have been. And, so the chain was like, no, it was not out of control. It didn't malfunction. It was only because it was brought too close to something. Could be. I don't know. My problem is not that it was like knocking stuff and it got too close. My problem is that they couldn't control this thing and turn it off. There was like no kill switch, or they didn't know that there was one. So they're trying to hold this thing down, and the robot has to go through all its motions and dances. At first it's absolutely hilarious. And then if you start thinking about it and you think, they can't control this robot. They can't kill it to turn it off. What can it do? What else could it do? You know what I mean? Ooh. Where are we in the process of all of this? Like how much further is this going to get developed? And we can't control these robots, right? So makes you think. And they have a whole, they did a whole little news piece on it, way too long. I think it was over 3.5 minutes of the reporters talking about what they think. And they actually talked about different robots that have malfunctioned in like China, and they were showing little clips of stuff. So, but it makes you think.
Doesn't make you think. Well, I hope that we made you think today. This is the Paranormal Report. We thank you for joining in. Just ask questions and tell people about the show. Like we said before, please tell people about the show.
Yes.
It helps so much. Really, we can't do it by ourselves. We can't. I mean, we're up against these huge podcasts with these huge budgets.
You don't know what we're up against. No.
You don't know. What is that from? You don't know. Oh, Orson Welles. I can't do it. Orson Welles.
Oh, that outtake. Oh,
by the way,
gosh.
If you want to look up something funny and you've never heard it, if you know who Orson Welles is, I know some people
like who
don't know who he is, but people of a certain age like us know who he is. Look up Orson Welles commercials, Orson Welles outtakes. You don't know what I'm up against. You people are such pests.
Yo, he was nasty.
Oh, yeah, he was getting mad about
that. Oh, he was nasty.
Oh, he would get like...
Oh, he was mad.
You don't really mean that, do you?
Crisp crumb coating.
Crisp crumb coating. It's difficult. It's difficult on the tongue.
It doesn't fall off the tongue.
It's unsatisfying.
Yeah, you guys have to hear that.
And that is, we have him in the fields before they even picked him. You're losing your heads, men. And he's like, who is that with you? Your friend. In the depths of his ignorance.
If I can find the clip, I'll put in the show notes.
Oh, my God. Oh, you can find the clip. It's on
No, I know,
YouTube.
but I meant I got to put that down.
You in the depths of your ignorance.
He was so nasty. Oh,
that's why
nasty.
I charge you people twice as much. Well, the funny thing was, I found about that 30 years ago. I'm old. I was in radio, and one of the DJs gave me a tape of it, a cassette tape. And I'm like, this is great.
I remember you coming home with that.
That and the Casey Kasem ones, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
And a dog named Snuggles. I got to come out of those up-tempo numbers with a death dedication. He threw in
except he said a swear word before
GDs
that.
GDs in there and stuff. And where are my pictures? Where's Don?
I want a effort. Yeah.
I want a concerted effort here not to come out of these up-tempo records with a death dedication. And then Shatner. The sabotage. I don't say sabotage. Well, I don't say sabotage. I say sabotage. No, he says, I don't say sabotage. I say sabotage. And then another guy.
He was nasty. That was nasty.
The one, he was trying, there was a producer. And he was trying, I'm William Shatner. Okay, well, that's the way I'll read it. And then he's like, hi, I'm William Shatner. And he did it really kind of like that. He's like, there you go.
Condescending.
And the guy's like, well, Mr. Shatner, you probably had the right read on it. You're right. Oh, no. You are the director. We'll do it your way, and we'll send it off and see what they say. Well, try it again. I'd feel better if you tried again, Mr. Shatner. No, we're going to do it your way, but I will give it another try. Hi, I'm William Shatner, and I'm talking to you about the world of tomorrow. He did it like a really...
he was so mean.
He's like, but Mr. Shatner, do it the way you want it to do. Oh, no. You are the director. You are in charge. So we are going to do it the way you want it done. And we'll send it back to the company and then see what they say. I was like, wow. Whew.
Yep.
And William Shatner just turned 95. Happy birthday, Mr. Shatner.
Happy birthday. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway,
right,
I digress. Well, yes, we're done. I just got off into that rabbit hole. Yeah. Anyway, well, we will talk
it's me. See?
You got one of my favorite celebrity bloopers, one of my favorite outtakes. I love that stuff. That and country music. Classic country music, though. All right. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great week, everybody. It's Paranormal Report. Stay spooky.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's it. Yeah, get down, Jen.